What is Epitalon peptide used for? Most of the time when you hear the word Epitalon, you just assume it's some kind of exotic supplement with no evidence behind it, but here's where you may be wrong, because Epitalon is this chain of 4 amino acids. It's a tetrapeptide, and it's derived from the amino acid composition of the pineal gland in cows is where they first extracted it. And what it does is it activates telomerase, and that's the enzyme that rebuilds the protective caps on your chromosomes. And so now we have 25 human cell data confirming that it actually elongates telomeres. Now, whether telomeres are relevant or not, that's still up for debate. But having a molecule that can reset circadian rhythms, helps us sleep better, helps us skin have more of a shine, helps you feel more vibrant and vital, that has very little downside from what I've seen, I think it warrants just taking a minute to learn about Epitalons. If we haven't met, I'm Regan Archibald. So glad to have you on the channel. Love it if you subscribed, leave us a comment. I created a company called Ageless Future. We've been around for 22 years, and we take the most advanced diagnostics and we match it with your goals, and then we build an operating system for your health so that you can look, feel, and perform your best at any age. And Epitalon is one of the core peptides that we use. Every single patient that we work with has different cycles and different phases of peptides. And Epitalon is one that we like to use a couple times a year, sometimes more. Some of you need it every month because your nervous system has had so much trauma. But Epitalon resets the sleep rhythm, because if you look at a priority on what are the most important factors for you to get healthier, well, we like sleep to be right at number 1. Of course, you need hydration, nutrition, exercise, great relationships, but man, sleep, I'm not a very nice person without sleep, and so that's where I love my Epitalon cycles. I'm doing one right now. We're just at the summer solstice, so this is when I always am using Epitalon. Summer solstice, winter solstice. So what is Epitalon? Well, it's 4 amino acids, and it was first synthesized by Dr. Vladimir Kobinson in St. Petersburg, and this was at the Institute of Bioregulation. And Dr. Kobinson created a whole movement when it comes to longevity medicine on these bioregulator peptides. Bioregulator peptides are 5 amino acids or fewer. And Epitalon is one of the peptides, and he discovered Epitalon and another peptide called pineal in the pineal gland. And Epitalon was confirmed to be present in physiological pineal gland extracts in human brains not until 2017, but he found it in the brains of these cows way back in the 70s. And so the pineal gland, if you think about what it is, that's what resets our circadian clock. The pineal gland is very sensitive and selective to what are called melopsin receptors in the back of your eyes. So melopsin receptors, they get activated when we're out in the sun. So every morning as the sun's rising, it's a great time to go outside. Don't bring your sunglasses, just go outside and go for a walk. Walk in the sun. Doesn't take more than 2-3 minutes, but more is better. Ideally get your exercise outside. And then what happens, those melopsin receptors tell the pineal gland when the appropriate time is to release cortisol. So if it's in the morning, your cortisol levels are going to be higher, much higher than any other time of the day if they're regulated. And then based on the cortisol rhythms, then the pineal gland knows when to secrete melatonin. Melatonin is the hormone that governs your sleep-wake cycle, immune regulation, has an antioxidant defense, very powerful. But by your 40s and 50s or earlier, especially with all the screen time that we're all exposed to, your pineal output falls significantly. I mean, if you look at sleep quality, think about when you slept really good. It's like when we're kids. You know, I grew up on a cattle ranch in Idaho, and so I used to wake up early and go move sprinkler pipes, and we'd go get on the horses and go round up the cattle and build fence. And man, I would sleep so good because I was out in the sun, I was working on a farm, and then I was young, so I had lots of growth hormone. But I could tell you, since using Epitalon and some of the growth hormone releasing peptides like CJC, ipamorelin, tesamorelin, man, my sleep, I feel just as good as I did when I was younger. As long as I've taken care of myself throughout the course of the day, I follow the 3-2-1 method, which is 3 hours before you go to bed, stop eating, 2 hours before you go to bed, stop drinking fluids, and then an hour before you go to bed, is a good time to just turn off the blue lights. Just dim the lights in your house, grab a book, talk to your family, hug each other. These are all really good things to help your body get ready for sleep. And so, but Epitalon, it's been documented that it can help pull you more towards that youthful amplitude. So it's changing the signal. And telomeres, if you think about Epitalon, it's this little 4 amino acid complex that came from a larger complex called epithalamine. But the Epitalon, it's just these 4 amino acids that start activating the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is that access to the subconscious mind. And if you look at the work of Joe Dispenza, Joe's a great friend, loves Epitalon. If you think about his work, he finds that as we age and as we have stress that interferes in our life, we lose connection and our pineal gland gets crystallized and gets hardened. We don't have the right signaling. That's where a peptide like Epitalon or Pinealion can be really helpful. And then as you get the telomerase enzyme activities, now these telomeres on the ends of your DNA on each side of each chromosome, that causes what's called DNA silencing, so you get better cellular replication. And Epitalon, I mean, one of the studies, 2025, Dr. Cobinson had passed, but there was a comprehensive review on all of his work, and it was published in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences. And what they found is the Epitalon activated telomerase using the TRAP assay. This is a validated test for telomerase enzyme activity in human somatic cells, and the average telomerase elongation in the blood lymphocytes was 33.3%. The same review of documents, a clinical study of 75 women given 0.5 milligrams sublingual daily for 20 days. They found the melatonin synthesis increased by 1.6 times relative to placebo, and then the clock gene expression fell 1.8 times, and the Cry2 expression doubled, all with p-values below 0.05. So what that means is that the circadian biology was being reset at the genetic level. And a lot of people ask, well, do I have to stay on Epitalon forever? Does it stay in my system like Ambien would or Lunesta or some of these sleep aids? What we're finding is that most people, a couple times a year, I like to do mine summer solstice and winter solstice, or if I'm traveling internationally, then I'll use a cycle of Epitalon. But what we're finding is once you've turned on the genes, and if you've got the right sleep hygiene and you're taking care of your health in all the ways, it's not something you have to stay on long term. You just need that reset, and now your body knows how to sleep again, and that's the beautiful thing. The second study in 2025, published in Biogerontology, used a breast cancer cell line and normal epithelial and fibroblast cells. And they wanted to see if telomerase extension would happen in cancer cells. And what they found is that the cancer cells use a completely different mechanism of lengthening telomeres. And this is called the alternative lengthening of telomeres, demonstrating that only the cancerous cells use that type of telomerase activity. So this is where Epitalon, it was originally used to prevent cancer, and many people say, well, if it's going to lengthen telomeres, you're going to lengthen telomeres on cancerous cells. But actually, the documentation shows it's the opposite. There's nothing that it does to turn on that alternative telomere lengthening pathway. So if you think about this for yourself, it's like, well, is Epitalon right for me? Well, first thing you want to look at your blood labs, look at your liver enzymes, look at your anion gap, look at your sodium-potassium ratios. Think of your kidneys as the longevity organ, and so looking at GFR, looking at your creatinine levels, your blood urea nitrogen, those are all going to be really important pathways to look at when it comes to supporting overall health. And so Epitalon, this is a peptide that I've used to reset that circadian rhythm. It's one of the most powerful ways that we know of to reset what's called your HPA axis, or your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. It's not FDA approved for any type of conditions. And I think there's a lot of great human data that suggests this may be a longevity treatment that we need to talk more about. If you want to go deeper on this, learn if it's right for you, all you need to do is go to agelessfuture.com, set up your free intro session, and my team will be able to take care of you. And then if you want to go deeper into what Epitalon is and what it does, I'll provide a link to another video that I recorded on Epitalon that will give you a little more history of it. I'm Regan Archibald. I'll see you on the next show.